Hello, hello. Nice to have you here again. Welcome. We have Kinga Daradics for this talk. So how are you doing?
All good, thank you. Hello, everyone, and great to be here. Even if it's online, it's so good to feel the community feeling.
Yes, better than nothing, right? It's not the same as
Definitely.
in person. Yeah, but it's great to see, and we will have some thumbs up and some communication coming from the other side, hopefully. And very short, Kinga is an international senior executive with an IT and business background, and she's here today to talk about nothing less than leading with impact. So, Kinga, do go ahead. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Rita, and thank you for the nice intro. While leading with impact, why coming to this session, I was giving a thought on what we started to discuss with the organizers jobs fair, what would be more impactful for the audience, and we ended up that based on my experience, which is as Rita mentioned, international, and I was pretty much leading anything between $0 to $1.5 billion and 0 to 2,500 people. That is how it could be more useful for you. So using that remark, how it can be useful for you, let me give you the freedom to ask questions in the meantime. So there you have a Q&A sections, and as much as possible, I will try to answer to all your questions, even with time limitations. On one hand, on the other hand, that we were discussing is that whether I should talk more on the enterprise side, on how to grow businesses. That's pretty much what I think one of my biggest impact is, to be changing, to be scaling up, to be growing, to be transforming businesses, or related to the career. And my first hint, as also in the last session, we were going with this forward to talk much more about career, much more about what I do for day by day. But really, if you feel that you have any question, please do not hesitate to use the Q&A button. So related to the career part, for me, wherever I am, I really want to make an impact. And it's easy to say it, but for me, impact means to have a positive impact on the business, have a positive impact on the people, and have a positive impact on the larger society or community that we are in. And this being said, I have always following those opportunities in my life when I could have that. And whenever I had the opportunity to influence someone's life, and I'm extremely proud that, for instance, I could grow like 7 CEOs in my career, and I'm happy and humbled to be able to contribute at least to their professional formation. Is really that in whatever position you are, and you work with people, and you definitely have an impact on that. And I have recently changed, and I have joined Zenitech 3 months ago. And the key drivers for me joining this company was it's exactly that. Zenitech is here to make an impact. One of our values is growth. And Zenitech is here to make an impact, a positive impact for people and for the communities. And when it comes to this statement, it is easy to say it and harder to do it. But definitely in these 2.5 months, what I felt a lot as being present in my everyday life, it was the support that I was receiving from my colleagues. Imagine that Zenitech is a UK headquartered company. We are doing for living software development, tailor-made software development. And though we are having products as well, and we are also ensuring IT services, including operational CTO type of services. The key part where we do make an impact is that we do help companies, our customers, on their road for digitalization, sometimes also with solutions which are completely out of the box, and even sometimes quite worldwide unique solutions which do work for a long time. So there's a lot of creativity which would not be there definitely without the people that we are having, and we are priding ourselves that we are the company who like to deliver on the expectation, and we do deliver on the expectations. But that enables our people, to work on interesting projects, to work with blue chip customers, to be part of multinational teams. Our presence is in Lithuania. We do have 2 centers of excellence, one in Kaunas and one in Vilnius, one in Cluj, and I have the honor to set up the Hungarian operations. Plus, we are having in London also with our head office several functions. For instance, the digital practice is located in London, which goes from discovery through UX, UI design to process engineering capabilities as well that we are having. When I said, that people first, and I also mentioned that we do have an extremely supportive culture. Also, we are proud that people do enjoy to be with us, and they do enjoy the projects that we are having. So very briefly on Zenitech, which is on a very growth path, being on our own values, but definitely this growth comes together with all those people who we are having on board. And when it comes to leading with impact, since this is the title also of the presentation, I'm sure that many of you have or will plan their careers in a certain direction. And, looking back on what I've did, and being that IT or being that business or being that a small team or being that a large team, I think it's extremely important to like what you do. And for instance, at Zenitech, when we are choosing our colleagues, one of the key questions in interviewing is, okay, what do you want to do? What do you like? Which is that thing which makes your eyes sparkle and to be really motivated to do that? Because I really believe that if you take just a normal work day with 8 hours, it means that at least 1/3 of your life is spent at work. So if you're spending it with negative energies, you don't like what you do, you don't like whom you work with, that's gonna be definitely a burden in your life. So we value quite a lot the growth mindset of our people, and we working with really leading technologies worldwide as we speak. It's also quite important for us that the people are growth mindset. They are curious, they learn, and we also are encouraging and fostering this learning abilities and creativity with them. It's also important for us to show that we work on projects which are really creating a bigger purpose in most of our customers' life. And when it comes to who do you work with, I think that the people-centric culture and the supportive culture what we are having here definitely is something that we live day by day. Related to the other part, I have briefly mentioning the learning and growth. I'm sure that as we speak, there are many novelties already popping up in the IT industry. So definitely one key point for me is that the change is very rapid, and we need to adapt to that change. And just a short story in the sense that even if I have joined like 2-3 months ago, I already find it very rewarding when it comes to my learning professional journey. I have spoken for quite a few minutes, so if there's any question popping up, I would be happy to take it. Otherwise, I could continue forward. I do have a question here related to how financial systems improve through digital transformation. Thank you for popping up that question. And actually, I have spent quite a few years of my career dealing with bank cards, fuel cards, which are very, very, well, on one hand, it's financial instruments. On the other hand, it's very tech-driven for many reasons. On the other hand, I've also spent part of my life creating consumer insurance product with leading mobile technologies, and also we do have partners which are in the financial arena with Zenitech and even disruptive financial partners. So going back to Alvina's question, how financial systems improve through digital transformation, Probably the short answer would be that a lot, but mind the regulation. So even there are some simple examples that I'm sure that many of you have bank cards, for instance. And when you're using the bank cards based on your behavior, your spending behavior, you might get certain direct marketing. You might get certain fraud patterns that are coming up, or you might get you might want to rely on real-time authorization systems if you have the money in your account to use it. And this being already technological in many ways, it can transform. If I take, the European regulation, a few years ago have been issued a PSD2 regulation, which is meant to liberalize a bit the financials of the banking sector, specifically for consumers, and to give way for through free APIs to use more patterns as such. Just one moment, I need to plug in my laptop. But if I can use this laptop example, that's again something which is important for the financial systems to be up and running. So going back to the PSD2 regulation as well as it's changing, but a lot of compliance, a lot of governance comes with the system. So if you are thinking, for instance, of funds who are investing, I happen to be on the board of an impact investing fund for the environment, social and governance criteria. It's crystal clear that you want to make sure that wherever you spend the money, and sometimes it's quite real time, especially if you're using instruments linked to the stock exchanges, it's fastly moving. It's tremendous, the impact of technology. On the other hand, what I think, for instance, about the insurance industry, if we take the financial sector as wide, I see that sector is definitely ripe for disruption from digital perspective, and I see that, especially when it comes to consumer insurance part, I see it both on the customer and the back office or the risk modeling side. I don't know if that answers to your question, but definitely it's something that it's out there. And if I may use, the last example of the insurance companies, for instance, damage claim assessment. That's something that usually happens, that someone goes to your car, checks if you had an accident, if the casco is covering those scratches and so on. But what happens if you can do that in a controlled video environment? And that means, already efficient, making that process extremely efficient from cost or human interaction perspective. So I think there's a lot which comes in the financial industry, even if in certain parts is much more advanced. One thing which comes also when it comes to the careers and when you are working in the IT industry, I'm sure that most of you or all of you have seen what it means to work from home and what the COVID had implications as working from home from many perspectives. And I think it comes with more layers on. So on one hand is the technology part enabling it. I think it's pretty easy going. On the other hand, it's also how the organizations are handling it. So for instance, at Zenitech, we do have a very flexible culture in the sense when it comes to remote working. We do trust our people and the projects are there. So we are really monitoring that, but everyone can decide, where they work from the office, from a coffee shop, or from home. So the remote work, it was something which we didn't need to implement in COVID because we were having it actively. And for instance, everyone with us has laptops. We don't use desktops, never ever. We are a cloud company, so it comes easily with that. But I think which is also important when we go back to the previous messages, like what you do and like who you work with, it comes with the online engagement of the teams. And let me push back a question to you as well. How did you find the engagement when it comes to the online work that you were doing in this period? If you just throw in a few words, that would be more than great. So some people like it. I saw a short message here.
Hi, Kinga. So we have a shy audience here. Okay, we've got the first answer coming up on the chat. So do type your answers, please. We are happy to have some interaction. So Santosh says, I was good. Would you like to repeat the question, maybe, Kinga?
So how do you feel about team engagement and your personal engagement when it comes to remote working? So let me go forward with it if we have a shy audience. And
you mean maybe as opposed to being sitting in the office,
yes,
right,
yes,
with the colleagues, yes, and everything. So yeah, so if people think that this is better this way or worse, and why?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if people start to type anything in the Q&A. You can pick it up on that, and you can move forward if you would like. We have 3 minutes left.
But if we have a shy audience, I will share our example with the remote and the home office part. So having a flat organization, which is increasing quite a lot. I mean, when I joined, we were like 320 people, and nowadays we are like 400. So definitely it means a strong onboarding part, but which is extremely helping us is that we do have our subject matter experts no matter on the location. So it's a very flat structure. It's something where everyone can be an expert in. It doesn't matter where, and that's extremely helpful when it comes, to remote work, because having a culture where you can use, for instance, I'm relying a lot for marketing on my colleagues in London or on my colleagues in Cluj in Romania, and that creates certain communications which makes teamwork for us a lot more engaging than if it would be like very siloed and very structured, very fixed manner. There was a question, but I cannot see it, or a comment, sorry. Or it's in the chat, sorry.
Yes, I'm putting them on stage in hopes that you would read them. Yes, so definitely you can compare the experience between working remotely and in the office. And this one, it works when you have common projects and meet at certain points to have a conversation to feel part of the team. And then there's another one that says, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you can read that one.
Yeah, working from home gives more productivity if one is well experienced in his job profile. For freshers or less experienced persons, it is difficult to learn and produce from home than being in the office. This is Satish from Chennai, India. Thanks, Satish and Carmen, for popping up these two ideas. I definitely subscribe to both. So what we see on our everyday lives, when you have a project, you have a direction, you have certain milestones, you have a team, and that team, whom you're working with on that specific project, definitely it helps, even informal and informal discussions, and that's definitely increasing engagement. On the other part is, I really see it toughly in the IT industry that the junior peoples are a lot harder to onboard. So we are quite proud to have junior peoples being onboarded. We had 2 actions with thousands of applications, both in Lithuania and Cluj, and we have selected several tens of junior peoples, and we are proud that our mentors and our people were able to grow that. But it's definitely a key focus if we want to grow our next generation of mediors and seniors in this industry, and definitely it's a challenge when it comes to that. So yeah, I mean, tips and tricks, sometimes work. So I'm sure this community would use more tips and tricks on that. But what we saw is definitely having a clear mentor allocated to those people and making sure that they work on meaningful projects. So I think these two hints are really something that we saw working in the remote work. Although leadership styles sometimes need to change in that as well.
Right. Yeah, we are all learning and adapting, right? This is new for everybody, yes. I guess. Thank you very much. I think we will wrap up our talk now. Thank you again, Kinga. Thank you, everybody. We got a shy audience, but some of you replied in the end, so thank you for that. It's always best when we have something coming from your side as well. So stick around for the next one and enjoy the event. Stay well, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.